Well, today we are talking your health. According to studies, over 50% of all Americans will die of heart disease or cancer, and almost 50% of all Americans will die before the age of 74. But what if there was a way to detour from either one of those paths? Dr. Dane Donahue is with us right now to talk about how you can predict the future of your health. Dr. D, my man, good to see you. Those stats will definitely get your attention.
Absolutely.
How can you predict your future?
Well, we got to first start off by looking at the way most people predict their health, and that's based on how they feel, Yuki. But let's take a heart attack, for example. Nobody wants to die of a heart attack, but the first sign that you have heart disease is often a heart attack and death.
True.
So we need to know long before we go down that path towards cancer, heart disease, diabetes, whether we have one of these chronic diseases.
Talk to us about what's it called, metabolic syndrome.
Yeah, and this is the key. 40% of the population has this syndrome. And if you have this syndrome, you are at significantly increased risk to develop diabetes, 9 times higher risk. Heart disease, 3.5 times higher risk. Cancer, 2 times higher risk. And the problem is this is asymptomatic syndrome. So it's based on 5 criteria.
Which are?
Okay, one is your waist measurement. If you have a waist measurement over 35 inches for a female or 40 inches for a male, and I'm talking about the widest part of your waist, not where you wear your pants. Okay,
right? Okay, because a lot of people will pare their pants down, right?
Exactly. So also blood pressure. If you're 130 over 85 or above, or a good sign is if you're taking blood pressure medication. And then there's 3 lab criteria. One is your fasting glucose if it's over 100. One's your fasting triglycerides if it's over 150. And then one's your good cholesterol. And if your good cholesterol is under 40 for a male or under 50 for a female. And you only have to have 3 of those 5 criteria to be diagnosed with metabolic. Just 3.
Just 3.
Yeah. And you can have PMS. Males can have PMS. If you have 1 or 2, you're headed towards metabolic syndrome.
Are you serious? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And the BMI, how important is that?
The BMI, I would say, is the least important of the criteria because we want to know
body mass index.
Body mass index,
right.
exactly. Okay. We want to know how much belly fat a person's carrying because we think everybody, because 40% of the population has metabolic syndrome, we believe everybody should be tested for this syndrome. And it only takes about 30 minutes to be diagnosed or tested for metabolic syndrome. But there's no light that's going to go off in your body when you have metabolic syndrome, no alarm. But many people right now are walking around headed towards that cliff called a heart attack or a stroke or diabetes, and they don't know it, Yuki.
Just about out of time. Where should your blood pressure be? We saw the diastolic and systolic numbers there.
So 130 over 85 or lower. But the key is to get tested. And people should go and visit our website at 8ww.com to find out if they can be tested for metabolic syndrome in one of our centers.
Very important stuff. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. For more on Dane Donahue and 8 Weeks to Wellness, check out CBSPhilly.com as well. We'll get you to his website. All you have to do is click on Talk Philly. Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Here's Kate with your forecast.
If someone asked you how you felt, your response might be, I feel okay. Well, today, okay isn't good enough, especially if you find that you are a little bigger around the waist and you have not come to grips with exercising. Dr. Dane Donahue joins us with his patient, Deb Cipollone, to share with us Deb's journey to wellness that begins with a 50-pound weight loss. Really great to have you with us. You look really terrific. Doc, what you said, that Deb was experiencing what you call metabolic syndrome. How does that present?
Well, first of all, it presents by 40% of our population has metabolic syndrome. So it's huge in our population right now. And it presents as your waist measurement. If for a woman it's over 35 inches, for a man it's over 40 inches. Your triglycerides are high, your blood sugar's off, it's over 100 fasting. And then also your blood pressure, if you're on blood pressure medication or you're hypertensive. That's how we classify. It's 5 specific criteria.
Okay, but you don't really feel necessarily symptoms from that.
Not until you have that heart attack or that stroke, and that's the problem with metabolic syndrome. It's a precursor to chronic disease.
And so, all right, so Deb, we're really interested in your journey, and we have some before pictures, but we want you to share with us, what was it that motivated you to change?
I was just always feeling tired, miserable, didn't want to do anything, was always really cranky, and I just had come to a point where I had enough, and I was tired of feeling like that.
And so here you are now, after I mean, this is really terrific.
Yes.
And Dr. D, you say that there are real numbers that attach to this change in Deb's body and spirit.
Yeah, and we say that physiology doesn't lie, and so much of our population, we're depending on how we feel as a barometer for how we're doing. And in our clinic, we do testing. We don't guess. We test people, and the physiology will tell us how that patient's doing, and if indeed they have metabolic syndrome, and if we need to change their health.
And so Deb's numbers are real,
Oh,
and she
absolutely.
had an improvement.
Without a doubt, not just in her weight, and that's the problem. We focus too much on weight. You know, we need to really focus on the numbers, and we do that wellness score to let us know.
Okay, and so Deb, what can you do now that you weren't able to do before?
I have so much more energy, and I feel much more relaxed. The people that live in my house can tell you I haven't yelled or gotten really angry probably since the beginning.
Wow. Okay, because everything, again, Dr. D, is in balance with her.
Without a doubt. And again, we don't think about that emotional component to our health, but when you're out of balance physically or you're out of balance with your biochemistry, your emotions are going to be out of balance.
Indeed.
So Deb just feels so much better, and everybody around her has benefited from that.
That really is terrific, again, because of the program. For more on Dr. Dane Donahue, metabolic syndrome, and an 8 weeks to wellness program that might help you, you can go to cbsphilly.com and click on To Talk Philly. Let's check the forecast.